Hey fellas, today we're going to take another look at old school cool. So I got into the mood of collecting more of vintage, and when I say vintage, I think we're in the 1980s, 1890s, 1990s, not the 1890s, with this knife. This was a Remington knife, and I'm pretty sure it was made by Camillus, and it's actually called the R8, is that what it is? R8 Stockman. It's a USA made knife, and I paid about the $50 range. And you can find them just depending on condition. I'd say this one's at the upper end. And if I didn't say so already, it's made by Camillus, probably somewhere in the 80s or 90s. So they did a lot of this Delrin. They jigged it to look like bone. So don't be fooled when you're looking for these. If someone advertises it as bone, double check just to make sure. It's a pretty good, in pictures it comes across pretty good as a bone, but in real life you're going to tell it's not. So nice jigging here, excellent fit and finish, excellent, no gaps, can't see through. Just smooth as a baby's butt. Really happy with these. This one has a long pull, and we'll get a little comparison knife here. But they do have the Remington, made in the USA, UMC. Can't remember. I think that's Union metallic cartridge. If that's, someone can back me up on what the UMC is. You know, Remington was, well, they made knives and starting after World War I, they had a bunch of equipment set up, a bunch of employees, and after World War I, they didn't need to make as many guns as they did during the war, and therefore, they could turn their labor force, if you will, and their factory into making knives. And they made some excellent knives. But by the 1980s, I'm not exactly sure when, but I do know in 1982, Camillus, they bid their knives out to Camillus, and Camillus did them till like 2004, 2007. And I want to say, who was that? Son got them for a while. And then we had Buck. A lot of those were going to be green-handled knives. But anyways, I really like these blade grinds. I like the blade shape. It's thin, it's slicey, it's very thin here. You're going to have to check out my other videos on the Remington knives. Yeah, so anyways, back to this blade grind. Very thin. I have some other Remington. Camillus made Remington knives, and I just love the blade grinds on them. I do appreciate the spring action. I have some modern day case knives that don't have the same walk and talk as these. Now get ready for a little secret on this knife. This is pretty cool. And that is, it's serrated. So how cool is that? Okay, we'll check out this. Boom, baby. Love it. Okay, nice active blade. You can see the grind lines. And then you can see very, serrated there. Take a peek. I want you to notice this kick. It is still smooth here. One thing I will point out, you usually can see the pins on a lot of these. So, boom. Love the action on this. Some of the best action, including my case knives. So, I do have a comparison knife, and this is my Roper, and this has got a Pit Viper bone handle, 1065 steel. These, by the way, are advertised as high carbon, and I've seen people Yeah, I don't know if it says that. The people are saying something to the fact of thinking it's carbon steel. I believe it's more like a 440B. That's what I'm discovering usually when people advertise high carbon. It's a stainless steel and it's higher than 440A. But I want to say, take a look. I think Roper may have got, excuse me, their pattern, their measurements from this Camillus. I also think Buck did. You guys may not know, Camillus was contracted by Buck to make some knives until I want to say about 1986. So you'll see some Buck Stockmans that are predate 1986. I think that's a Camillus knife. And what that has to do with it is Buck eventually did get their own tools to make the Stockman. And when they did, I don't know if it's the 313, the Buck 313, they made them same thing. You'll see the pins showing a lot of similarities. I don't know if they have long pulls. But anyways, back to the Roper. Little bit of stepping here. Not quite the spring. Does have a lazy half stop. But this is, for about 20 bucks, this is a nice Stockman. You got the carbon steel. I'll open this up. Take a peek, just for a comparison. I don't know that Case does one this size. So I don't know if Case does a Stockman this size. They do the 47 pattern, which has a nice clip point blade on it. And it's not the large like the 75. But Remington and or Camillus also do a large Stockman. And I have one of those, so you'll have to look for a video. It'll be out on that. And we'll see. Here's our Sheepsfoot blade. Get an idea. I think this blade stock's thinner on the Roper. Yeah, and I think behind the edge is a little thinner. Pretty decent. Half stop here. Okay. And, okay. Very decent there. No half stop. Okay. Nice walk and talk. And our final blade. Okay. All right. Harder pull. Not as good as walk and talk for sure. And, I think, in my opinion, I like the Remington Spey blade better. See how that is. Yeah, they both feel okay in the hand. The only thing we got, what do we got? We got bone handle, and we got these threads, which are kind of cool. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead and finish out on that note. So thanks for joining the miner. Wait, don't go. I always forget something. So I got some paperwork with this, and I wanted just to share some of the other models you would find here. That would be the R1 called the Upland. And they got the shotgun. You know, Remington makes shotgun. These are gauge. So you can adjust your gauge. Here's an R2 waterfowl. Serrated, we got that. Here's the R3. They're calling the big game double lock back. I don't know what this comb type thing is. What else do we got? The utility. I think those are pretty bad. A gentleman's. That's a fixed blade. And then the R6 is the Skinner. And we are looking at the R8. They have the R9, which is the Outdoorsman. They got Fax and care. They have closing the lock back. Okay, the Skinner tools for removing shot from the gun. Directions on how to use the gut hook and the saw. And then the waterfowl serrated blade. So, thought I'd share that with you. Kind of cool. All right, guys. Thanks now.